Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We've got Ahmed Sule, who is the Secretary, Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, so this is Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. It's not the same thing as Arewa Consultative Forum,
No,
is
it's
it?
not.
This is the youth wing.
The elders. ACF is the elders.
Oh, okay.
The Northern Elders Forum.
Okay. So what is the position of the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum on this particular matter?
What particular matter?
The threats issued by the Igbos to leave the north.
This country is a very unique country, Nigeria. So many things that needed to be done the right way at the right time don't get done because situations like this have come and gone severally before. We have a sovereign state with sovereign powers, whether it is a president or whoever it is in charge is duty bound to take care of any situation that is going to threaten the unity of the country. That is the meaning of sovereign. Nobody should tamper with it. Now, over the years, for example, what brought about this, the declaration that you heard last Tuesday? You have the Igbo people. The idea of Biafra within the sovereign state has become like a very child play. You don't try to make jest of situations like that, especially in a country like Nigeria. When you are within the state and then you are talking about another country in a country.
So is
when
the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum supporting the threats issued to them to leave the north?
You see, what I'm trying to tell you is that when things get too much, because we tend to be getting used to allowing them to get away with it.
With what exactly?
Why should you be always talking about Biafra? And the ones that do it, you can see them at the younger ones. Now, the Arewa youth has never talked about breaking away from this country. In fact, all we do in our programs is making sure this country remains united.
Isn't that what they invariably have done by asking the Igbos to leave the north and then the northerners in the southeast to come back to the north? What does that mean?
Because when you make threats and you get away with it, it doesn't mean the other. Look, for example, now the average northerner is looked upon at a very funny position, because if you talk about illiteracy, Hausa, Namalam, na this and that. Now, what is it depicting? We have swallowed it. We have learned people in the north, just like any part of the country.
I'm trying to understand now, the nexus.
Yes.
How does that?
So now.
How does that connect with the threats?
So now today,
that were issued?
When situations are developing the way they are.
No. Could you connect that, or was it just a one-off? I mean, I didn't get your point on that.
No, it's not. It's a serial of developments that somebody, for example, in the north, if it is not the Arewa youth, what other organization actually stands out, sticks its neck and say what is supposed to be said. Now, for example, what makes you think the ACF ended up backing what the Arewa youth leadership said? The position we took is simply because we are not fighting. We are just saying, well, if it is Biafra you want, always your card on the table is you want to break away. It's a kind of a marriage, unity. You are not satisfied, okay, please start moving. There is no fight in it.
What? Let me. That's it. There are many perspectives. I'm just wondering. So, what exactly is, because you didn't seem to have addressed the reasons preceding their sit at home, unless you're saying, does that violate any laws in this land by people sitting at home to mourn the dead?
To mourn the death of who?
Those who fought in the war. Because that's the reason they gave for asking people, sit at home and observe that one day. What law has been violated by that?
What we are talking about is beyond that sit at home thing. You see, the average northerner knows what he feels. The impression of him from the other parts of the country, especially the southern part of the country. The northerner accommodates a lot of stress and pains of insults. Very slight, silent insults.
Is the North marginalized?
Every part of this country is marginalized because it's either you belong in the system or you end up being marginalized.
So there's a system failure in this country.
What is the system failure? There is a constitution, whether it is the people's constitution or whatever. But who is using the constitution? Even this very constitution that Nigeria is sitting on today. If you want to operate that constitution to the letter, the problems of Nigeria will be reduced to the barest minimum. It is the operators. It's the operators who create the problem. So as time goes on, accumulation of various problems, every section is being marginalized. You end up reacting in very different ways. Even they talk about breaking away. It's all because of the marginalizations experienced.
Do you agree to have a sovereign state of Biafra exist on its own?
If they can manage it, and there is no war about it. The North is not claiming power of governance in this country. We are not, as Northerners, talking about we have the government and we control it. If you think the Northerners thinks they are in control, they are the government or the other country, it's because of your own failure to hold on to your own.
When you say it's the elders, are you referring to the authorities in government, the governors, for instance?
Oh, what elders are we talking about?
When you said you were referring to elders, you said that they are the reason why we're going through this phase in this country. Could you clarify the elders you're talking about? Are they the governors? Are they the elite class in the society that is bringing about these problems that we have?
Yes, you see, just before I came on, I was talking with an elder statesman there, up there, and we were talking about elders and the roles they ought to play. We talked about the youth, and what he even gave me in our discussion gave me enough for thought. Because at my age, I am the National Secretary General. So,
is that normal?
In a normal society, it's not normal. Because my position ought to be run by some 30, 40-year-old young man.